Hi, I'm Brady of Brady's Oysters. My wife and I started this business down at the Westport Dock in 1970. In 1980, we moved to this location. Our goal and aim has always been to grow the best possible oyster for our customers. And now we're going to take you out to the oyster biz to show you how we grow Brady's oysters.
In order to produce a cleaner, firmer oyster, Brady's oysters are grown on suspended culture. This growing system keeps the oysters out of the mud and in a better position for feeding. We start with the shells of shucked oysters and braid these half shells into polypropylene ropes, about 200 shells and 90 feet of rope. These shells are the medium for the larvae to set on. The lines are packed into baskets for storage until they are planted out. Next, we fill these 800-gallon setting tanks with the baskets of shell and salt water. In early summer, it's time to set the oyster larvae. It's purchased from oyster hatcheries. Brady uses one of these packages that contains 4 to 5 million larvae per tank. To enable the larvae to thrive, the water in the tanks must be aerated and heated to 80 degrees. The larvae is fed and kept in the tank long enough to set on a shell, usually about 4 or 5 days. The baskets of set larvae are now called seed. These baskets are kept in the water. It's time to start our planting in February. The seed baskets are loaded on the boat and dropped at marker poles in the beds. We unpack the seed in the baskets and stretch it along rows of PVC pipe. The pipe is slotted on top to hold the lines of seed. The seed ropes, or long lines as they are called, are stretched out and tied together over the length of the beds. We then pin up the long lines in the slotted pipe on the way back to the start of the row. Now that the oysters are planted, they'll grow for at least 20 months until they are ready to be harvested as Brady's oysters. Rows of oysters that are ready for harvest are marked with buoys, which are picked up at high tide, and the long lines of oysters are pulled onto the boat. The lines are then cut up and packed into bushel baskets. Oysters that fall off the rope during harvest, or due to a variety of weather-related causes, are picked by hand. We pick the oysters into baskets that have a harness and buoy. This way, we don't have to carry the baskets of oysters through the mud. When the tide comes in and the buoys float, we pull the baskets onto the boat. Harvested oysters are ready to be shucked or sold as bushels. Brady's oysters are shucked into gallon buckets in our own cannery. The oysters are washed twice, graded into sizes, then packed into pint or half-gallon containers. For all your oyster, clam, and seafood needs, visit our store along the Elk River on the Westport Highway. We specialize in fresh Dungeness crab, both live and cooked. Be sure and make plans to come to Brady's for our annual oyster feed held on the first